A very warm and healthy good evening to all of you present at the CDAP Road Map 2021. I hope that everyone is doing good as well as they are safe and healthy. CDAP is one of the most difficult modules in the university. If you are not from the final year, then this is a very good opportunity for you to prepare beforehand. If you have already started this module, then you might have faced many challenges when selecting a research topic and might have many doubts to clear. So this event was organized by the software engineering students community at the SLIIT in order to support you with it. So we have invited a graduate from our university who have gone through the exact same process and completed it successfully. And dear students, this event was organized only for you. You are free to ask any questions regarding the module or any doubts you have in any language you prefer. There is no any language barrier, and please use the Q&A to ask any question. To begin, I invite Gihan Siriwardhana, who is a software engineer at Cisco Labs and the one and only Sri Lankan to be a Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. Over to you, Gihan Ayya.
Thank you very much. Let me see here. Hope you can see me and see my screen as well. Need to share it. Yeah. Hope you can see me and see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can someone confirm if they can see my screen or not?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Yeah, you can hear me clear, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you can you see my video as well?
Yeah.
All right, great. So let's start. Thank you very much, SC student community, for inviting me here. And as like our announcer said, so this is one of the most challenging and most difficult modules, or maybe you can say it's the most difficult module in anyway in SLIIT students' life. This is very hard. So I will be taking this chance to walk you through what I have faced, what are the lessons I learned, and what are the things you're gonna need to like complete it successfully. And as we mentioned before as well, you can ask any questions at any given point of time. So if you're not familiar with Teams environment, so this is a Teams live event. So we are using MS Teams, and this is a live event. So you cannot unmute your mics and talk to me directly. But there's this Q&A panel. If you look at if you look into like the right side of the screen, you can see a question mark with two bubbles. So that's the Q&A panel. You can just press it and ask me any questions. So unfortunately, I'm only good with English and Sinhala. So if you are good with Tamil, someone else have to help me translate that. But if you have any questions, I really encourage you to ask it at any time you want. Any questions? First of all, I will not be making fun of any questions. So I will take every question seriously, and I will try my best to answer it according to my knowledge. And again, use any language, Sinhala or English. I really don't care. So if you don't understand anything, ask me. I'll repeat it. If you have any questions around it, ask me. I really want you to ask me questions, because there's no point of me talking to you if you don't answer, like if you don't ask any questions. So I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to ask you questions. You can ask me questions. All right. So without further ado, let's start. So CDAP Road Map. I hope most of you are from June batch. The people who is starting their fourth year very recently, and then we have maybe third year second semester students, and I think they are the people that are going to be benefited mostly from this session as well. So if I start my presentation here. Hello, I'm Gihan Siriwardhana. As mentioned in the beginning, I'm currently a software engineer at CDAP Technologies, and I am lucky enough to be the first and only Global Microsoft Student Ambassador for Sri Lanka. And you can find my links, my telephone numbers, everything about me from this site, gihansiriwardhana.live. And I completed my SLIIT degree last year, but I haven't got my graduation yet. It's yet to come. So hopefully I will be getting my graduation photo very soon. So, but you can say I'm graduated because I'm completing my all my modules, and I'm working right now. So, in this session today, these are things that I'm going to cover. This is like basically an order about the things that I'm going to cover. So we have what is CDAP, why is CDAP, and step-by-step guide to you to follow these my instructions. And I'll be talking about competitions, publications, and few tips and tricks I have learned. And finally, I have in like big bold letters Q&A. This is the portion of time you get to answer, like you get to ask me any question. You can ask any question you like. I really encourage you to ask questions. Okay, let's start with what is CDAP. Most importantly, what is a research? So you might already don't know, like even though we call this CDAP, this is a research, right? CDAP means comprehensive design and analysis project. So that means basically research. So if I ask any one of you, what is a research? What is a research? Or what is CDAP? What are the answers that I'm going to get? So if you think about the definition of a research is a systematic inquiry, describe, explain, predict, and control the observed phenomenon. It involves inductive and deductive methods. Big words, simple meaning. So you don't have to get this idea to your brain. I'm just telling you the definition of the word research. But in simple terms, research is a way to find solution for problems, right? We have a problem, we do research on it, and we find solutions. As an example, let's take the light bulb. Light bulb. So if I ask you who made the light bulb, who's the inventor of light bulb, there might be people who say Nikola Tesla, there might be people who saying Thomas Alva Edison. Either way, they had to do research, right? So what's the problem here? The problem is having a steady source of light with electricity. That's the problem. So they had to go through a vast amount of research to accomplish that, right? So in books, I have read in books that Thomas Alva Edison had if he is the inventor of light bulb, I'm not sure. Thomas Alva Edison had to test more than 1,000 different metals. Finally, he found tungsten. So that's basically research. So they have problem, they do research, they do trial and error, they do development, they do testing, and then finally they have solution. So that's basically research. So like now we know what is CDAP. Why is CDAP? Why do you need to do this project? Why do like as an undergraduate, why do you need to complete research to get your degree? Like haven't you done enough? You have 39 modules. If we don't think about research, we have 39 modules. We have projects, vivas, exams, midterms, assignments, all this workload, right? Isn't that enough for a degree? Definitely not right. So if you think about this, CDAP is the biggest project in your undergraduate life, biggest one. Because I'm saying that it's a 16 credit module. I'm not sure about the exact credit now, but when I was doing this research project, it was 16 credits, and it's a project that goes through your first semester and second semester both. So you can imagine the size of this project and what they expect from you, right? That's one. Two, this is the place to show your passion towards technology. You have done IT projects, OV projects, like PAF projects, any projects that you have done in a module. Basically, your lecturers ask you to do a project using these technologies and come up with this one. But when it comes to CDAP, you have the freedom to choose the area, to choose the technologies, to define a scope, to do anything in the area that you love, that you have passion towards. So because that's basically this is a place to show your passion towards technology, and then this is a milestone that you learn a lot of things. I know you had 39 modules, you learn a lot of things, you learn about programming, you learn about project management, software management, quality engineering, maybe MERN stack, meme stack, mobile app developments, all these things. But this is the place you get to solve a real world problem using the things that you have learned. And basically it's a milestone, right? It's a milestone in your life, in your education, and in your career as well. Simply like if I ask someone to think about this research, I say simply just think your life depends on this. That's how important this is. You might ask, why is this that important? Life depends on it. All right. So I think I have mentioned this few times ago as well. Currently, we have around 18,000 plus students graduating with IT degrees, software engineering degrees, network engineer, cybersecurity engineer, internet media engineer, all these IT degrees. We have more than 18,000 undergraduates coming out. So I'm getting a number based on these facts. So as for my research, I found out that 36% universities provide IT degrees, including the government. We have SLIIT, NSBM, NIBM, IIT, APIT. All these universities provide the same level of degree. Like finally, we are getting a BSc on BSc degree, right? So there are more than 36. Like 36 is like the main universities, and around 500 graduates per university. In SLIIT, it's around 1,000. I think it's more than 1,000 in SLIIT. So when we get those numbers, we have around 18,000 plus graduates coming out of SLIIT. Not only SLIIT, but all the universities. Like with the same knowledge of, with the same knowledge, with the same level of education qualification, with the same level of projects, research, and everything. Right? But do Sri Lanka have 18,000 job opportunities or not? That's the real problem, right? It's a real problem. I know, like around people go abroad for their higher education, and around 5,000 start doing the jobs. But what happened to the other 10,000 people? What happened to them? Have you ever thought about that? Like you're following a degree, and in a batch, like in SLIIT, I think there are more than 1,000 in the batch, right? More than 1,000. Think about that number for a bit. Have you ever seen 1,000 job openings for a month? I'm pretty sure about what I'm talking about because I have friends who have better GPA than myself, better marks than myself, who still don't have a job. And I know people who's doing a job for a salary around 30,000. Why do you have to pay this much for a university if you are going forward with a 30,000 job salary? You might know there's this group, right, in Facebook. Maybe you have heard of that. Maybe you're a part of that as well. In there was this post like, why do SLIIT students have to go for these low salaries? It's not a problem with SLIIT. It's not a problem with SLIIT. As a matter of fact, I know SLIIT students get paid more than most of the universities. But the point that they're taking is like the point that I decide most of time is the university life that you spent, the projects you did, the technology that you have learned, basically a passion towards technology. All right, so CDAP is one of the main places that most of your interviewers going to ask question from. So like SysClubs is the only company I went to. Not only I haven't for 2 jobs. I applied WSO2, I applied SysClubs. So I chose SysClubs, but In both of those interviews, the question that got asked most is about my research project. What I have done, why did I choose that topic? What are the problems I face? How I face those problems? All these things based on my research. So I think you can understand now. I think you are fourth students, most probably fourth students. I think you can understand now how important and why, basically why is CDAP, right? Do we have questions so far? Don't have questions so far. Yes. Okay. I have this Q&A panel open. You can ask. Yeah, we have one question. Will you upload the recordings? I think the correct answer is given. Most probably not, because it's a live event. I think if you really want this, you will be here, right? If you really want to learn about this project, and if you really want to know about my experience and the things I'm telling, you will be here. So we don't have to provide recordings to those who don't want to come here, basically. Yeah, let's move forward. So we have to talk about what is CDAP. Now we know why is CDAP, and then the most hard topic: how to CDAP. How I'm going to do the research. So I will be taking this chance to provide you a step-by-step guide to a successful research project, and I'll be talking about all the steps that we have to follow, all the documents that we submit, all the tips and tricks and the lessons I have learned. Number one. So I have seen the registration form that you have filled to come to this event, and Rishad was so kind enough to share me that the document. So the most asked question in there was how to choose a topic. I think choosing the topic is like the first step that you have to do, but that's where most students have no idea what to do. All right. So if you're a student from a June batch, I think you probably had to choose a topic right now. I'm not sure, but even if you do, I think you still have time to change it, or maybe tweak a little bit with my inputs. And the most important thing that I have to tell you, before starting this. So I'm talking from my experience. So I did my research in 2020. The rules may be changed a bit with the time. So I'm just talking about my experience, the things I have learned, things I have known. All right. So whenever you get questions after this presentation, after the session, if you get questions about what to do, always refer the course step. Always contact your research coordinator. Always contact a supervisor. Always contact your batches and your batchmates. So don't rely on my words when it comes to your research, right? So I'm telling what I have done. I'm telling what I know about research. I'm pretty sure the rules have changed by now. So I'm telling my experience again. All right. How about this topic? Before choosing a topic, you have to understand what is a topic and how it should be modeled. You have to understand that first. Then you have to understand what is the area that I'm going to research about. So if I go to that slide, yeah. So in research areas, we have two parts. We have research domains and we have research technologies. The research domain is the part where you do research. As an example, you can take healthcare. So we have COVID right now, right? Like we are living in the pandemic. We are living in our homes, but even though the curfew is lifted, I think we are still living in our homes. So that's a very good research topic, right? Healthcare. What can you do to solve problems with people having because of COVID? So that's a research domain. Don't confuse. That's a research domain. That's where I'm going to do my research on. And then we have research technologies. these are the technologies you are going to incorporate in your research. We have machine learning, blockchain, BI, IoT, DevOps, all these technologies. So basically, you are using these technologies to solve problem in these domains. I'm repeating myself. We are using these research technologies to solve problems in these research domains. Whenever you want to select a topic, you can I really advise you to find a domain that you are passionate about. As like a funny example, let's say your boyfriend or a girlfriend is a doctor or a medical student, then you might want to go with healthcare. That's a very very simple example. So then maybe you are maybe you are really into like this IoT, what do you call robotics, all these things. You can go for robotics, and maybe your father or your mother is a politician. You can go with politics. So that's how the domains are categorized, and that's how I would ask you to choose a domain. I would recommend you to choose a domain that you're passionate in, rather than going with any of these topics, because then you will be working much harder than not. So then research technologies. So in SLIIT, I think this is something wrong with the syllabus. But in SLIIT, the research panel expect us to use machine learning for everything, right? Like in my opinion, machine learning is overrated. People try to use machine learning in everything. Machine learning is good. But if you are doing a research in machine learning, you have data set, you train a model, and then you show output. So this is not research. You have a data set, a machine learning algorithm that already have found, and then you train data, then you get a model. This is not a research. But unfortunately, most of the SLIIT students do the same thing. I have seen hundreds of research. What they're doing is they are getting a data set, they're training it, and they're deploying it. That's it. That's machine learning, and that's the research. Like point given, you can pass the module. And again, before I forget again, we are going to do research, right? There are two types of research. The research that you can do only to pass the module and get the degree. That's the number one. And then you can do research to pass the degree, pass the module, and to contribute something to the society, learn something, and show off your skills. These are the two main types of researches. It's up to you. To decide. If you just want to pass the module and get the degree, you can simply get a machine learning data set. So a data set in a machine algorithm, just train it and show I have used machine learning, blah blah blah. I am done. Can I have a degree? It's up to you. But if you have a brain and if you remember the things that I have said earlier, we have around 10,000 jobs. We have more than 10,000 students without job. So if you want to join that 8,000 with jobs, you have to have skills, and then you have to have a much better research than 10,000 people. All right. Just passing the module will not guarantee a great job. That's my opinion, but it's up to you to decide. Whether you just want a degree or you want a great research to be done. So I'm not going to explain all these domains or technologies. I'll just go through these things very quickly. We have healthcare. That includes doctors, nurses, hospitals, maybe cancer diseases, medicines, all these things. And then we have transportation, basically like a public transportation, like anything. Then we have food. Then we have environment, the environment that we right now having. the sustainability, entertainment, maybe game development, maybe like a very creative VR app. That's coming. That's come under entertainment. And you have robotics, automation, and then you have computer science to come up with like a new programming language, maybe a new framework, new machine learning algorithm. And then we have law and order. Then we have politics, natural disasters, industries, economical. So all these domains, and like these are like just 14, and you can come with your own domains as well. So then we have research technologies, machine learning, blockchain, BI, robotics, IoT, DevOps, cloud computing, predictions, DC, cybersecurity, game development, all these things, right? Yeah, I think I don't have to explain these things. If you have questions, please raise them. I will be happy to answer. Let me see if we have any questions. If you don't mind, what was the WGPA? So my WGPA was 4.67. When did you? Like I don't have first class degree. When did you choose CDAP topic? In a third year, first sem itself. So if I talk about that, okay, wait, give me research field as university. Okay. So like we have one question asking. Maybe we can publish these things. So we have one question asking, when did you choose the CDAP topic? So that's actually kind of funny. When I was in my second year, I was really into backend development. When I was in my third year, I was really into front-end development. At the end of my third year, I was trying to get into like this DevOps area. So I really loved Kubernetes, Dockers, deployments, cloud computing, all these things. So when I looking at ideas, and I remember that we have to research anyway in my fourth year. So I basically thought about what is the current trending cloud technology involves DevOps. The answer was Kubernetes and Docker. So I basically searched through what Kubernetes does and the problems that they have. So I came up with an idea. So like at that time, I thought I was very early. I'm saying about like maybe it was around November, like October, November, maybe. So I thought I was way early rather than my batchmates. I'm going to get my supervisor first. I thought like that. So yeah, that's the day that we had our last lecture, and it was a seminar, I guess. So after the seminar, I went to talk with Dr. Darshana about my topic, but for my surprise, there was a queue from Dr. Darshana's office to the elevator. So all these people came up with these ideas, and they came to find a supervisor. So I thought I was early, but in fact I was very late. There were people who had the supervisors, and there were people who had the topic defines way before than us. Like even in your batch, there were some students who contacted me. So I did the same session in last year as well. So there were some people there as well, and there were people who contacted me, I think maybe around 2 months before, regarding this research project. So if you haven't think about a topic, if you don't have form your groups, I think you're already very late. So yeah, that's how it happened. But anyway, like I came with the idea, and I talked to Dr. Darshana because he was into this distributed computing at that time. So we shared our ideas together, and he helped me define my topic more elegantly. And then he agreed with me to be my supervisor, and he was the greatest supervisor I think I can ever think about. We have another one in research field as simple as CTO development. Same research development. I actually don't understand this question. is research field, as an example, ICT for development, HCI, same to research domain. Yeah. Aya, can we do our research with grouping? I think it's better. My specialization is SC. I'm from SC batch. Yeah, I think I'll get back to this Q&A because I have a lot to cover. Yeah. So then I have. Yeah. Then I have qualities of a good topic. Because you can find topic very easily. It's not that hard, but every topic should be well defined. As an example, we have like right now we have a COVID, right? So like if a topic is like solving COVID, it's not a good topic. It's a very bad topic because your topic should be well defined and well narrowed down. If you choose a topic like this, let's say using artificial intelligence to track people to reduce close contacts based on COVID. That's a good topic. So as an example, you have to well define this project topic. This is the exact thing I'm going to do. If you let's take another example. Increasing the popularity of public transportation. Increasing the popularity of public transportation. It's not a great topic. It's a very bad topic. If you want to define more, let's say, using blockchain and artificial intelligence to predict the time. No, sorry, to predict the time delay to increase the period of public transportation. So you can't solve everything about public transportation. You have to find one point and then you have to do something to solve that problem. You have to just solve one problem at a time. And the number 2 should resolve an actual problem. So that's again a great point because I have seen people who are trying to solve problems that does not exist. Let's say as an example, can I think of an example? Yeah, let's say we are taking the problem as okay, I'm going to make my video conferencing better. I don't think it's actually a problem right now. Like right now we have Zoom, Teams, all these platforms that provide really good video conferencing. Unless you can use something like very elegant, like 3D modeling or like 3D calling, like something like that, it's not an actual problem that we right now have. And then next one, it should be unique. Because if I take 10 research ideas, most probably 7 of them are about agriculture, using prediction models to predict the next result. So everyone is doing the same research. It's not very unique. It's not going to get you much marks because if 10 people are doing the same thing, if one lecturer has seen the best one, others will not get enough marks, right? That's simple as that. And should be possible for some extent. If we say I'm going to invent teleportation. Like if I want to go Colombo, just press a button, I will be disappear from here and I will be going to Colombo. That might be possible in maybe next 50 years, but not right now, right? So your idea should be possible. You can't come up with like fairy tales. You can't come up with the things that impossible to do. it may be impossible, but it should be possible for some extent at least. You can do that part and then leave the rest to figure out for someone else. Next one. Should contain enough scope. Because CDAP is a group project, right? I think right. So in CDAP we have four member groups. So all those people are working on the same research, right? So then there is enough work for 4 people. If you are just doing one simple component, then people will not get enough marks and people will not have anything to show in progress presentations. I'll be talking about them later in presentation as well. So it should be well defined, should resolve an actual problem, should be very unique, should possible for some extent, and should contain enough scope. All right. Breaking down components. This is another place that most people screw up. In simple words, in the first image you can see we have member 1, member 2, member 3, member 4. Like just think of these things as components. And the time goes down here. Like if you look into this chart, what this chart resembles is that member 2 has to wait until member 1's output. In other words, member 1's do some things and then member 2 continues it, then member 3 continues it, member 4 continues it. So this is not going to work very well with the project like CDAP. This might work in other projects, but in CDAP this will not work because you have this progress presentations. This is not a project that you complete the whole project and then you do a Viva at the end of the project, then they give marks. We have Viva like in middle of the project as well. So you have to complete your component for some extent to get marks. So all these marks will be combined to give a final mark. So this is not going to work. This is another type of diagram that we can think about when we're dividing components. So this is going to work, right? So we have in 1's component, number 2's component, number 3's component, number 4's component, and all these components should be able to work simultaneously, parallelly. So as an example, let's take another example as well. Let me think about an example first. Let's say, I'm going to take the agriculture again. So let's say we are going to determine if this soil is better or not for this product. Let's say carrot for easy. Let's say carrot. So what our research is, we are going to determine if this soil is suitable. Maybe not soil. We are going to see if this land is suitable enough for grow carrots. All right. So the member 1 can take weather. He can analyze the weather. He can predict the weather, and he can do everything about weather when it comes to finding the land. Then member 2 can think about a soil, maybe. And member 3 can do research about the temperature around that area. Member 4 can do research about the service available, the labor intensity available, all these things. Okay. Then after they come up with their component, so that as an example, like member 1 is doing his research on weather, like he is developing a model that can predict the weather for the next 3 months, and that can determine if it is good for carrot or not. A model. So the member 2 can do the same, and likewise at the end of some time, maybe around 70% of the research progress, you can have 4 components that are working individually. So everything should work individually at the maybe at the 75% mark, and then you can spend the rest of time to integrate all these things into one project, right? So everyone has a workload in the full extent of the period of project, right? So you have member 1, member 2, member 3, member 4, all doing research at the same time parallelly, and then they can integrate. So this is the best way to break down components as I see Maybe there might be other opinions as well, but in my opinion, this is the best way to break down your components. And again, when you are dividing your components, you have to think about the scope of your component. Please don't take CRUD, that is create, treat, update, as part of your scope. There might be CRUD operations, but don't consider them to scope, because CRUD is a simple thing. Like for you right now, I guess you have done IWT, OOP, ITP, PAF, AF, all these projects with this CRUD operations. But now we are like fourth students, and you have to think like a fourth student. So doing CRUD operation will not help you. And just think about other thing, like obviously you need to have CRUD operations, but you should have something other than CRUD. That's what I'm saying. And everyone should have equal workload. Maybe when you're dividing, when we forming a group, there might be people with different skill sets, right? There might be people with the different skill levels, but regardless of that, everyone should have equal workload. There might be a person maybe struggling with this IT world, but even he should have the same amount of workload. Otherwise, he will not get scored like others do. Even if he can't do like other people, he should be having equal workload, but other team members can help him, right? Always help your team members. This is, even though you are scored individually, even though you are marked individually, this is a group project. If you don't achieve something remarkable as a group at the end of the day, you will be a failed group. You may be getting your marks for your contribution, but as a group, you will be failed at the end of the day. Well defined, I have mentioned. Okay, should have an idea about the few paths to follow. All right, so this is an interesting one. So when you start the project, let's say again as an example, I'm taking the previous example as well. Let's say we are taking we are looking at the land and determining if it is suitable for grow carrot or not. Okay, that's our search. Let's say. So remember, one part is to identify the weather and identify patterns of the weather, and then predict the weather for the next few months. Okay. When we get that as a component, the person who is doing that component should have an idea about few things to do. I'm not saying you have to have the perfect idea about what to do next, how to do this, how to do that. That's not it. And again, another point. If you know how to implement your component at the moment to define your component, it is not a research. It is a project. It is not research. In a research, you should not have any idea how to complete this, but you should have a path to follow. Maybe like you had idea. Okay, we have to identify weather. So first thing we need to I need to do is to collect data about right now weather. I need to collect past data, and maybe I need to incorporate machine learning. Maybe I need to incorporate some IoT devices. Maybe I need to incorporate some available cloud computing power. So you have to have an idea about like few parts, but not the full idea. If you have the full idea at the first day in research, it's not a research, it's a project. Time management. This is the most important topic when it comes to CDAP, because time is everything. You have you think you have 2 semesters to do this project, but I think you already know you have to publish a research paper in conferences, but all these conferences collect papers in around July, August. So you have to have a perfect research paper by then. So you have you just have around 6-7 months to do all research part and write a research paper. So that's so time is very essential and very very crucial matter. So do not wait till last moment. So maybe you need, like as an example, let's say you have to write your research paper by end of April. Let's say April. So let's say we are like in January. Okay. So if you are waiting to start write your research paper until maybe March or April 1st, that's not going to work because you don't know the things that you have to write research paper. Research paper is not something you can write overnight. It's not. Believe me, I tried. It's not. It's not something you can write overnight. It's very hard because it has a well-defined structure to follow. We have a well-defined font. We have well-defined font size. We have defined like paragraph sizes, a word count, a letter count. Like there are several things like tables, images. All these things you have to think about, and the references. Like that's not very easy to do overnight. So the first day you start your research properly, you should plan for your research paper and other documents as much as you can, and everything you do, you should document it. Then you will not be hurried, and like maybe you will feel like very comfortable when they ask you to provide the research paper at the end of this month. Plan for evaluations. Yeah, I will talk about evaluations as well. Like you can plan for evaluations. You can think, okay, I have my 25% evaluation this day, so I have to complete this much of work before that one. Like that. Okay, how to find supervisor? First of all, why do you need a supervisor? Why? Why do you need a supervisor? Because research is not basically research is not a project. Basically, you have to find things. You have to have meetings. You have to have surveys. You have to have what do you call votes. And having a supervisor make it super easier because a supervisor person who have much more experience than you. He or she knows what to do next. He or she knows who to contact about these problems, what to do next, and he have like a very well idea about what's the research and what is the next process is going to be. And he is the person who can help you when you have no idea what happened. Okay. And I know this is a problem that most of you are facing these days and will be facing in next 2-3 months for 30 students. This is like a very big problem. Mainly you have to identify there are 3 types of supervisors. Okay, we have to have a main supervisor. We have to have a main supervisor, and then we have optional co-supervisor, and then we have optional external supervisor. The main supervisor should have a clear idea on the domain. As an example, if you are doing research on distributed computing, maybe networking, maybe AI based, Dr. Narshana is a man. He's a man. Like he's the person I go to if I'm doing research about that one. If you have an idea about mobile application development, parallel computing, like very program extensive project, Dr. Nuwan is the person to contact. Dr. Nuwan. And again, if you have research about maybe it's called cloud computing and user experience, user interfaces, all these interactive, Mr. Lagath is the person to contact. So likewise, you have to think about supervisors. And if you go to SLIIT site, and you can find all the lecturers and all the details about lecturers, and in those details you can find what are the research areas of those lecturers. So try to find a person that has experience as much as they can in their respective field regarding to research. All right, and then you have co-supervisor, a co-supervisor person that you can contact when the main supervisor is not available, and to get help with programming and to get help with like error resolving, all these things. And then external supervisor. External supervisor is a person that who's coming from the industry. So he's the person who can get you this industrial knowledge and maybe the things behind the scene. So like he knows what this like industry uses. So that external supervisor don't have to be a software engineer. Maybe he's a doctor. Like if you're doing research in healthcare, you can have a doctor as your external supervisor. And if you're doing research in maybe let's say politics, maybe politician can be an external supervisor. If you are doing research on law and order, maybe you can take a lawyer as your external supervisor. So these people will be allowed to help you because they will get something out of this as well. So whenever you have main supervisor, co-supervisor, it's custom to include them in a research paper. So it's the tradition. It's something you should do as a tribute to your supervisors. It's not a must, but we did it. I think you should do it too. You should give credit to your supervisor in your research papers. So they will allow to help you. And again an interesting point. So communication with the supervisor. So this is the pace like most of the students like feel disappointed about the supervisors, and maybe like even like I got some calls. Yeah, the supervisor is not answering our calls. He's not replying to our emails. So this is there's a way to connect with the supervisors. There's a way to connect with supervisors, and there's a way to communicate with them. First of all, you have to learn how to write emails. So if you just saying like email, so is it like this is my idea, can you help me do it? No supervisor will reply to you. In a reply, you should probably address to them. Like I have seen people, I actually have seen Mr. Jagat have sent some of them to me as well. So I have seen some of those mails that like students just put their content in the body and they add around 20-30 recipient in the toolbox, including maybe Professor Abdimal as well. So people will not reply because it is not properly addressed. I think if you don't have experience writing emails, there's a very good course in YouTube to follow, because writing an email should be well defined, well put together mail. They will reply to you instantly. And if you have doubts, you can ask questions about me in the Q&A as well. And next on, doing a homework. Doing a homework doesn't mean that like preschool kids. Doing a homework means if you send an email saying that I got this error, can you help me? No one will reply to you. But if you are saying, sir, I got this error, so I did some thinking about this error. So this is the reason that they're coming from this one. So I have found these articles, but I couldn't find the exact answer. So if you send that mail well put together with links, all the findings that you have done, then they will obligate to reply to, like they will feel sad for you, and they will try to help you as soon as they can. And again, asking for help. There's a certain way to ask for help. Like don't go ask for help like everything. Like I'm getting this error. How can I put this one? How can I write this one? That's not a very good relationship with you and the supervisor. You should ask for help from the supervisor as much as possible, but there should be like valid reasons, and you should do your homeworks and try to resolve it yourself as much as possible. And if there's like no luck after all these efforts, then you can go to the supervisor. And I'll come back to that topic later as well. Okay. Then we have evaluations. So as I mentioned before, CDAP is not a project that you do for whole year. At the end of the day, you have a presentation and a viva. This is not one. So in this research project, you will have more than 3-4 evaluations. So for us, it was 25% like this. So like in this all this percent like this vivas, you have to show what have you done up to this point of time, and what are the problems that are facing right now. How are you going to solve these problems? And like as an example, like in 25%, they will not be asking you how we are going to solve these all problems, right? In 24%, you don't have any idea about how this research will turn out at 90%, right? But you have to tell, so this is what I have done so far. These are the problems these are the problems that I have faced so far, and I have planned to do this next. I will be trying this out next. You have a way to you should have a way to say I have done something up to 25%, and your judge panel will be evaluating you based on the things that you have done until that percent of completion. All right, am I clear? So you have to work continuously and you have to be evaluated continuously as well. Documentations and deliverables. So when it comes to CDAP, documentations are really big, and as of 10 myself, I really hate documentation as well. I really don't like documentations, but it is what it is, right? In a research project, you have to have documentations. So I have a roadmap, a simple roadmap. So these are the documentation that we had to upload. Maybe these things will be changed for you, but these are things that we had to upload in our project. So at first we have your project topic assessment form. So this is basically a document saying that this is my topic and this is why I'm going with this topic. These are the things I'm going to cover, all these things. And then we have the project charter. Charter means so how are you going to proceed this project? What are the things that you're going to do? What are the problems that you're going to solve? And then we have to do a presentation about that as well. And then we have to write a report about that. And then we have status document 1. I think this is around 50%, I guess. So then we have to prepare a document. So when I say document here, this is not just one document. These are 5, right? One for each and every member of the group and one for the team. So altogether, there should be 5 reports. There should be 5 project topic assessments. There should be 5 project chart submissions. There should be 5 project presentations. I think like you get the idea, right? So then we have the progress presentation. That means like you have to show what are the things that you have done up until that point. And then we have the research paper draft. So that means we like before submitting the final research paper, you have to submit a draft to the panel because they will be going through it and they will point out to your mistakes and they will help you to come up with a better paper if you submit a draft. And then we have this is a very big document. I think my this is what was around 60 pages. Very big document. Then we have progress presentation, and then we have to develop a website for your research. I will be showing my website as well. I think I have it hosted. I hope so. Then we have to submit a logbook. This logbook means basically we have to maintain a document throughout the entire year. Like writing the meetings we had this meeting with our supervisor, we had this meeting with our external supervisor, we did this, we did that. We have you have to maintain a logbook for each of you members. You have to maintain a logbook and you have to include screenshots of your meetings, you have to include photos, documents, all these things. So I think you should start a logbook from the day 1. And then we finally have the final presentation viva. Okay. So this is basically the roadmap that you have to follow in this year of period. And I'm pretty sure you have a lot of questions. Let's see, if I can take some questions right now before moving forward. Is this project from individual or team? I am from first year. Very good. I'm really happy that you're first year and you are in this call because that shows that you really want to do well in your college life. So actually, this is a group project, team project. You have to have 4 members in this group as supervisor. What is your special? As I mentioned, I am from SC. Okay. Is can we do our research with grouping SC and CSC friends? So I had a chat with Mr. Jagat, who will be a research coordinator for next year. So he mentioned that like SLIIT prefers if all the 4 members of group are from the same specialization, like as example, all 4 members from SC, from IT, for cybersecurity. So like they prefer that method, and because even I think that it will be easier for you as well, because with all these like assignments, all these like other exams, you will be like more comfortable if you have all 4 members from the same specialization. You will feel more comfortable. Aya, what is the total GPA out of? It's out of 4. Aya, what was your research topic? I will be showing my research topic. I can say you right. My research topic was a network science-based approach for an optimal microservice governance. Kind of big topic, but I think I can write it down for you as well if you don't understand what I'm saying. So my topic was network science-based microservice deployment. So this is my research topic, kind of Greek for some people, but I will explain what this means and later do this separate. But only if you want me to talk about my research topic, just let me know if you want me to talk about my research topic and walk you through about my research. If you want me to. Can we select our research scope out of our field? Yeah, the topic can be anything you like, as long as it has well-defined scope and you use technologies extensively. Can we formulate a group of 3 members? You can have a group with 3 members, but I really don't want to encourage that because at the end of the day, it's a team, right? It's teamwork. Like bigger the team, better. I like in my opinion, but it's up to you. Do we need to form groups according to subject visiting 40? I mean, some members will be machine learning. No, not at all. You don't have to choose a topic according to the subject, but try to form your groups in the same specialization. Not maybe you don't have to worry about the subjects. Do we need to come up with the product at the end of research? Or a concept is enough. What I can say is like concept is definitely not enough. You have to do some coding. It's a must for SLIIT. I know in research it's not must for do coding. The concept is enough, but for CDAP, they expect you to have some codings, and then if they expect you to have some like a working product maybe at the end of research. I think concept is not going to be enough. Do we need to find our supervisor after selecting a topic, or else can we get ideas as supervisor? Both is correct. So like if it comes to like myself, I actually came up with the idea myself. Then I went to finding a supervisor, and there are people who don't have any idea about a topic, and they can contact a supervisor, and then the supervisor can maybe give some ideas or pointers. So that's up to supervisor and yourself as well. But I really think it's better if you can come with the topic, because then you will be working more passionately rather than someone else to create. Like let's say like if I said you to do that, like do this one, you will not be work as passionate as a topic that you chose, right? But it's up to you decide. Do we need to pay for publishing or research? Unfortunately, yes. I think most of the research conferences ask you to pay some amount of money to publish research. So, like I published my research in ICAC. I think we had to pay around 20,000 to publish our research paper, but it can vary with the conference. How to find research gap? Research gap is basically the stuff that has been done around the topic. Like let's say you find a problem, right? Let's say our problem is traffic. Like basically we are going to reduce traffic by maybe automatically controlling the traffic lights. Let's say, so you can find out the things that that has been done around that idea. You can find like previous researchers. You can find out journals, articles, blogs around that topic, and then you can see what is missing. So that's the research gap. You have to say, all right, this has been done up until this point, but we have to do this. So this is our gap. I did say that your WGP is 3.6 out of 4. Yes. Can you explain a bit about the research project? We'll do at the end of the presentation. Is construction field a good area to choose for research project? Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a very good one, as long as you can find enough scope and a well-defined idea. Aya, can you share some experience you faced when dealing with a research project while interning? Are there tips that we can use to manage the research? Oh my God. So actually I started my internship when I was in second year. So I did an internship for 3 years. Actually, I was a scholarship student. Basically, I worked in IFS, at IFS, so IFS paid for my education, like SLIIT free. So I had to work at IFS, and at that time I was the president of the MS club, and at that time I was my social partner. I had to do that event as well, and then I have this research as well. So like managing all these things, I had few sleepless nights, and I used to complete my research work at my workplace, right? Like in IFS, like they were like very open company. So I had to work up, I think like from 8 to 5. Like after 5, I would stay there and do my research work after 5. So I'm completing my work with IFS at 5, and after 5 I do my research component at that time, and usually I come home from my office at around 8:30, 9:30 p.m. So like that provided me like a very calm space to work and focus on my research. Yeah, it was a very great experience as well, because like rather than coming to home and be distracted, like having to work with that space is like very comforting and very focusable and less distracting. When I asked one question, he said we can create group with different. Yeah, of course you can create group with different specialization. Like okay, like you can, but I would prefer not to, because it will introduce some problems. But if you really want to do research with all these people in others position, go ahead and do that. I side batch have not much knowledge on coding and programming. We planned out here to see people also in thoughts. I don't agree with the term that cyber batch have not much experience in coding. I think even though they are cyber students, they are following an IT degree. So you should have some idea of coding. Like if you think about, like if you just think you're doing a cybersecurity degree, after degree, then you get cybersecurity job, and then you can just like forget about coding. You're wrong. Ask your seniors, ask your senior batchmates, and they will surely say to you, coding is very important to get a job. So I really disagree with that statement. Some people, I know people, that some people that did like very great coding. So it's up to you again. Like again, it's up to you to decide if you just want to like forget coding and move forward to cybersecurity, and if you want to do coding as well, because as an IT graduate, I think you should have an idea about coding. I do need to publish our research. We need to publish our research at ICAC. Yeah, you need to publish research. Yeah, I think I can come to that later. Did you have any conflicts with your team members? Oh, we had. We had. How did you manage them, and how do I select a good team, Maya? Okay. When there's a team, there will always be conflicts of ideas, conflict of interest. Like maybe you like this one, do that one. But at the end of the day, you are a group, right? So, like actually, like I was a leader of the group, but even though I was a leader, like we always talk before getting decisions. Like we had hours of WhatsApp calls, we had hours of Teams meetings, discussing these things. But like I really encourage you, like it's not just about coding, and it's not just about doing documenting everything. It is all about communicating with the team members effectively. And if you have any doubts, if you think any member is like doing something bad, maybe like a team member is like avoiding their work, like maybe your team members like behind their work, I think you should always contact him personally first and ask him like Machan, do you have any trouble with this one? And if you have any other problems, like maybe like there might be like family matters problems, all these things, there might be other problems. Always contact them personally and ask, Machan, do you need any help? Like I always asked, even in my team, there are the times that some of my team members like struggle with coding. I always ask them, Machan, do you need any help? So you should behave like a group, and you should always help each other. And that is one learning outcome from this project as well. You will be learning to work in a team, because that's what you have to do when you're doing a job as well. Unless you are going to be a freelancer, you have to work with a team in the industry. So you should know how to resolve conflicts and how to communicate with team members. Please upload this site. So I don't think we'll be uploading this one. I'm really sorry. Do we need to find the supervisor after? I already answered this question, I guess. Yeah. All right, we can continue, I guess. Competitions. So doing research is not just about writing all these documents and submitting them to course and get marks. There are several competitions that you can win very easily if you have a very good research. So one of the main competitions in Sri Lanka is NBQSA. It's National Best Quality Software Awards. So we were lucky enough to be selected to the finals. Like my team was selected to the finals of this competition, but unfortunately we couldn't win. I'll tell you why that exactly. Because my research topic was like very technical. Like there was like no dashboards, there were like no input fields, forms, outputs, all these things. It was very technical, and it was about microservice deployments. It's about computer science, right? But in NBQSA, they expect something that we can sell, to the industry world, something we can find money on. and then something we can like present, like this is our research presentation, this is how we're going to start it, deploy it, all these things. If you can just show like a very good presentation, you can easily win the NBQSA. But unfortunately our research was like very technical. I think most of them couldn't understand what I was saying, because since it was like very technical and very pinpointed. But in SLIIT we had two winning teams. I think Dr. Pradeepa was a supervisor for like both of those teams, and they did a great research and they did a very good presentation and they won. I think they won second or third place. I'm not very sure about that, but definitely check out NBQSA. I think NBQSA will call applications around September, August, September, that time period, and you should have some kind of a working prototype. Like if you are planning to apply for NBQSA, I think you should be starting like you should like design your front end, and you should have a working prototype to show something magical. And then we have Imagine Cup by Microsoft. Imagine Cup is a global competition. I think you may have heard of that as well. Recently, we didn't have any winners from SLIIT, but in 2017 we had a winner. Maybe you have heard of the name Mr. Anjani Sankar. He was like one of our seniors. He and his team, Anushka Hapukotua, Gihan Siriwardhana. So these people won the I think East Pacific Asia. Yeah. Like on that region, and they got a huge prize money, and they got very big chances, and like they were lucky enough to like go to Singapore and present their ideas there, and all expenses was paid from SLIIT and Microsoft. So it was a great experience for them. But recently we didn't had any competitors from SLIIT for Imagine Cup, so definitely check it out. And then we have another competition called Isornan Money, and like again it's a Sri Lankan event where the top quality researchers will get appreciated and will be given prizes, and check it out as well. Then the final part is research paper publication. So you're writing research paper, like the end outcome is to publish a paper with the names on it, right? So when it comes to research paper publication, there are 3 stages, I guess, in my opinion. So you have to get ready with your research papers, you have to get ready with your references, all documentations, all structures and writing. And there's this stage called like peer review. Peer review is like basically you are letting someone else review your research paper, maybe an industry expert, maybe a senior, maybe a lecturer, like who is from that particular industry will be reviewing your research paper, and they will give feedback based on that. And after getting confirmed with that, like those research reviews, you can publish your papers in these 3 types. And we have conferences, we have ICAC, SLIIT, we have IEEE, and then we have journals, we have symposiums. So when you submit your research paper in a conference or journal or symposium, the one thing you have to be aware of is like H index. Like there is this term, basically a metric called H index, where they measure the quality of the research. Like bigger H index, better the research paper. So better the conference. So definitely check that out. I think SLIIT will give you like 10 marks if you publish a research paper with research conference that has H index more than 10. As I remember, I'm not sure about the number as well. Definitely check it out. And one other point, there are places that you can just publish your research if you pay money. There are some conferences that like you can publish any bullshit. Like you can like publish anything you write, right, without having proper references, without having anything properly documented. If you pay money. but those researchers like don't have that H index in grade and will not be accepted by SLIIT when it comes to like 10 marks that they are giving as a bonus. So please be make sure to properly do your research on a research publication and get feedback from a supervisor for supervisors, because they will let you know if it is a valid one or not. Then I have do's and don'ts. Do's, think outside the box. Don't go with like traditional researchers, as I mentioned, like CAD, like simple machine learnings, doing these simple things. Don't go with those things. Think outside the box. Do a remarkable research. Second one, ask advice from seniors and industry experts, because they have a lot more experience than you. Maybe they can show you something that you don't see in a research paper, and they will be happy to help you at any point of time. Then we have complete research as much as possible. That's again in a research, like I'm pretty sure like you can't complete everything in one go, but try to complete as much as possible, because it will be helpful for you when it comes to future developments. And think about the future well. Obviously, like when you doing research, always think about what's going to be next, what I need to do next, and how I'm going to solve this problem next. All these things. And finally, enjoy research and be passionate about it. Like, don't do research just to get marks. Do a research because you're passionate about that. Then you will be enjoying working on research. And very big don't. Do not pay someone to do your research. I know there are few companies that do research for you if you pay around 2-3 lakhs money. And I know there are few groups, even in my batch as well, who did the research for money. But I actually don't know what to call them. Like, if you like, do you know anything? I think the strongest word that I can say here is like stupid. They're like way stupid. If you like paying someone else to do your project, to do research, because you will not be learning anything. You will not be passionate about it. And if someone asks questions, you will have no answers. And again, if you are going to do a job, like those companies will not be there to help you. And in your vivas as well. If you get caught cheating, and can be very easily find out that you have not do your research, because in vivas, your panel asks questions, right? If your panel identifies that you have paid someone to do research or you haven't done research part, you will get penalized and you will get very bad reviews, very bad marks, and maybe you will be caught for an exam offense as well, and then that will cost your degree, and then you will have to wait for another year to do this project. So I think we don't want that to be happen. So I think I said enough. Don't pay someone to do research. And few other don'ts. Overcome problem. Like in research, like you don't have to solve everything. Like don't try to solve everything around that problem. Try to work on like well-defined topic and well-defined scope, and don't try to solve a problem that does not exist, because I have seen people trying to come up with the problem that don't exist. And don't copy someone else, because I have seen people copy other researchers, because like you can get all the researchers that has been done previously from CourseSet, and I have seen people do the exact same researches. And even like my research, there are people like there are like few people basically copying what I'm doing, like what I have done in my research as well. Don't try to copy someone else. Try to come with your own idea, unique idea, and work on that one. And don't do the research just to marks and module completions, and don't just abandon research. And I have seen people who get their degree and then they completely abandon their research and they don't continue work on research. But I think you all know Hello, right? Hello. Helakuru, you know, right? With the keyboard, Helakuru was the research project from Danikaya. So he made his research project his source of income. Like right now, they are the only app from Sri Lanka that passed the like 10 million downloads. It's like a very good, like very big company right now. So he started with his research. So if you're passionate about research, definitely you can make some earnings from the research as well. And don't let one member do all the work. So this is probably going to happen with all your like with most of the groups, but please don't let one member do all the works. You have to help them. You have to what do you call? You have to work as hard as others. Okay, then finally some tips and tricks. I think I saved best for last. Use Teams. So the platform that you're using right now, MS Teams, is the best platform to conduct research. Like what we did was we actually created a team for ours, like for my team members, and I added my supervisor to that same team as well. But I got consent from first, and then we upload everything to the Teams. Like in Teams, you can upload files, you can upload documents, you can have chats, because whenever we want to go back, everything will be there on your Teams. So we uploaded every document, we uploaded every site, and we even created a separate document to like find links. Like whenever like I see something related to our research, I just copy the link and paste it in our Teams. And the best thing is Dr. Darshana is in our Teams as well. Like he normally went to like go through our documents and he said like this should be created. This should be created. So like he comment on our documents and like he give us feedbacks as much as he can, and it's like very helpful when you're doing research. And use Microsoft O365. I think you all work with like Word, PowerPoint, and upload everything to your cloud. And I really suggest you to edit on cloud, because I have seen some intents like some people they do all the document, they don't upload to cloud, and then their machine crashes. Maybe they are like hard disk burnt. Then maybe they are like Windows crashed. They lose everything, and then they have to start from the beginning. So upload everything to cloud, and always edit on cloud. Even if there are like power failure, machine crash, or anything, a document will be saved. And even like in research paper, yeah, like 4 members can work simultaneously in the same document. That's a very big plus point if you're using Microsoft O365. And then Grammarly. Unfortunately, Grammarly is not a free software, a free service, but there are some ways to get it for free. But I'm not recommending it. I'm not recommending it, but I think it's not that expensive. Since you have like 4 members, I think all of you can like chip in and get one subscription, and then you can share it among your group. So I think that is a very good investment for research, because in your research you have tried so many documents, and grammar is very, very important. So that's something to think about. And again, you have some ways to get Grammarly for free, but they might be illegal, but there are ways. And then I have Google Scholar. So the Google Scholar is a website that you can see thousands of previous researchers about the ideas, about new technologies. You can use as much as you like. Then I have Mendeley. So Mendeley is a tool that can work with references. Like you might have heard, like when you do a research, like as example, let's say I'm writing like this. I'm writing 30% of the companies use cloud services. If I'm saying that, I have to have a reference. I have to refer some place that point is shown. So when you're writing research papers, there might be hundreds of references. So Mendeley is a very good way to manage all these references in one place. And then we have ResearchGate. ResearchGate is again a place that you can read thousands of researchers and IEEE Explore as well. And then next thing is Jira. Jira is the thing that I use, but you can use any project management software that basically you can have like sim lanes and move around and have tasks to do. It will help you to guide yourself in the project as a team member, because like it will show exactly what are the things that I have done right now, what are the things I have to do next, what are things on process like in progress right now. So you can use a software as Jira as well. So that's the end of my session. So let's see if I have any questions left. And in the meantime, please ask any question that you have in the Q&A panel. Can you please explain what are the main technologies related to robotics? IoT, Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Microbit, all these things. Can you remember what their research was? What they are, like who's there? Please, can you elaborate on that? Who is there? I'll be joining my 4th year in 2022 February. So do I apply for to NBQS if my project is good in 2022 August? Yes, of course. After select research topic, do we need to read whole research papers or specific parts of paper? Let's face it, I don't think you will ever read the whole research paper. I guarantee that. So I read few of them, but I never read the whole of the paper. I always go for like things I'm focusing on, and I'm just doing like control finding and finding about like keywords that I want to read. After select, no, I could do some resources which will help to find a good specific topic. Which also relevant. So a good resource is to talk with people. Basically, like if you have friends in other industries, maybe you have engineering friends, you have friends in businesses, you have friends in medicine, you have friends in law and order. Like talk to them, ask them like what are the current problems that you're facing in your industry, and then they will give you some pointers, and based on those things you can come up with your idea. This is something extra. I still haven't found an internship. As hiring interns going down and that's good. Okay, this is the this question is not related to this one, but anyway, I'll answer. Yes, hiring internships has going down because of this like COVID pandemic and everything. Companies can't afford trainers anymore. Yes, but if you want to find a good internship, one way is to okay, I will tell you a method to find a good internship. So what you have to do is you can get a list of companies that you want to apply. That can be around 30-40 companies, and find their career email address, and then send an email, send like an individual email to each and every one company there, saying, I am an undergraduate of SLIIT. I really like your company and what you guys are doing. I'm trying to come to this like industry world by doing an internship, but I couldn't still find this an internship, but I'm really passionate what you're doing, and can you please give me an internship? Some like format an email like that and send to all those 30 companies, personalized emails, and I am very sure you will get at least 5 to 10 responses. I am doing my job as .NET developer. I am planning to do my research in NLP. How is that help me in industry as .NET developer? This is two different areas. Bit confused there. Could you explain me about it? Okay, you say you are a .NET developer, right? But in a world of IT, nothing is permanent. Maybe in 10 years, there will be no .NET, right? That can be that can happen because we are working in an industry that's growing so fast. In few years, there might be no .NET available for you. So having a knowledge, something like NLP, neural language processing, will help you to find it. Maybe to find next job. Even you can use in NLP, you can do anything you want, right? You don't have to be strict to .NET anymore. So that's my suggestion. You can be you can continue to work as a .NET developer is perfect fine, but doing something out of your comfort zone, it's not going to hurt. It will definitely help you in the future in some way. As an example, I am a full stack developer. I work in Cisco as a full stack developer, but I did my research in DevOps. No, actually, there are tiny bit of overlap, but most of the time I am not touching Kubernetes. I'm not touching Docker. So, but I am very sure my research will help me in next years. Maybe I'll move into industry next year. Who knows? They might be having better salaries. Then I will move into DevOps. What extent do you mean by don't come up with the problem that doesn't exist? Because if you go through some researches that our seniors did, there are some very hilarious topics. I can't pinpoint anything, but there are researches that has been done on that problem that doesn't exist. As an example, let's say, what do you call? It's the quarantine. Yeah, it's the quarantine. Okay, so we are going to do research on isolating people to reduce the spread of COVID. All right. So solution is quarantine, right? That might be a bad example, but my point is, if you are finding a problem, it should be a real problem, and people should be experience that problem as well. That's my opinion. Do you have any recommendation for finding data, primary data, current penetration? Yeah. So one thing that you can do is, obviously you can't go to people and ask them, but you can have online polls. You can have online surveys, and maybe you can create a form and ask others to fill it. So this is the most simplest way to gather data. But if not, let's say you're doing a research on transportation again, you can find most of this traffic data from a police station. If you have any friends in the police, if you have any friends in the Department of Transportation, you can call to them and they might have data. In Sri Lanka, it not be in digital form, but they have data. And you can get a letter from SLIIT, most probably if you are asking for government data, they will ask a letter from the campus, and you can get a letter from the research coordinator saying that please let the student have data. Assume we found a problem in Windows OS. Can we make a new OS as a research? Yes, of course. That's a brilliant idea. If you can make a new OS that fixes that problem in the OS, that's a great idea. You definitely can. Can external supervisor be a friend who is not related to ICT? Working in construction in QoS band. Yes, external supervisor is not necessarily have an idea about IT. So they just have to have an idea about the domain that you're doing the research. If you are doing research on healthcare domain, the external supervisor can be a doctor. And again, you don't have to have external supervisor. It's not a requirement, but it's better if you have. Yeah, any helpful guide on selecting a good contributing team? That's not something I can answer. That's something you should get with the experience, right? If you're in 4th year, you probably have done around 6 projects, right? 6 to 5 projects. So then you should have an idea who's going to be a good member, who's not. And I think you will know yourself if you are not a good member as well. Let's say you have bailed your previous project, and if let's say you have paid someone to do your IT project, if in your previous projects, let's say you are leader did everything, probably you will not get a team this year. So you have to think about that as well, and make sure to contribute as much as you can to a team, and then you will be identified as a good member, good team player. Can you suggest a supervisor for blockchain-based research? Carvinger, sir. Was it Carvinger? I don't think Dr. Carvinger. Not sure. Carvinger, sir, from cybersecurity batch. So he will. I think he has a good knowledge on blockchains. Yeah, how did you manage all these things? I guess many sleepless nights, very helpful friends, great team, great working environment, and working hard, I guess. Yeah, is it better to contact the supervisor right now as in 3rd year's exhibition? Yes, of course. But if you're 3rd year students, if you are contacting a supervisor, make sure to go to them with a very solid idea. Otherwise, they might think you as a burden. I have the research to be totally unique and never been attended by anyone before. And can we do a program? I'll just share this. Yeah. You don't have to do a unique research. You can always improve something. Like you can say, as an example, like my research was finding microservices and making the deployment better. Maybe you can refer my research and make it better in your research. That is possible. And yeah. What are the topmost trending technologies currently? Technologies are, I think, blockchain, cloud computing, microservice, business intelligence. So those are the, I think, topmost trending technologies. These types. Definitely BI, business intelligence. Definitely. Is there a number of technologies we need to use our research project? Like I just referred to a research project, and you have various technologies which I don't know. So should we also say various number of technologies? It's up to you. It's basically based on the thing that you want to achieve. There's like no limit of technology that you can use. You can use any number of technologies. You are free to use any technology that you like, but as long as it add the value to your research. Can we ask lecturer to be our supervisor before choosing a topic, or we can only ask supervisor after coming with a topic? That's based on the supervisor. Like as an example, a supervisor can only supervise around 7 projects per year. 7. So as I mentioned before, when I went to Dr. Darshana, there was a queue from Dr. Darshana's office to the 8th floor elevator. So if you have ever been to 8th floor, if you have ever been to Dr. Darshana's office, you can imagine how long was that queue, right? So, and again I mentioned, like we have like we normally add our supervisor's name to our research paper. Okay, then the supervisor have a choice. He have 100 teams asking to be his supervisor, and then he only have 7 chances. Definitely, he will go for the better topic, right? Because obviously he like his name is going to be there on the research paper. So obviously, as a human being, he will choose the best research topic. So if we don't have a topic, how can I say that? Right? If you don't have a topic, you can ask like advisors. But I don't think it's fair to ask to be a supervisor if you don't have a topic. You can just ask a person, can you be a supervisor? What you can do is you can ask a lecturer, say that sir or madam, like we had no idea about this research project, we have no idea about the topic. Can you give us some pointers? Can you give us some ideas? Then he or she will give you some ideas, and based on those ideas, you can select one, and you can ask like, madam or sir, if we do this topic, as our our research topic, will you be a supervisor? That's okay. That's okay to ask. But I don't think it's fair to ask a lecturer saying that I have no idea what to do. Can you be a supervisor? It's not fair. Does the technology matter? So the quality of research is better to use the technology in peak. Again, it depends. Again, it depends on what you are trying to achieve. Can we build a unique product for the research project by combining features of other products that already implemented? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you should have a research area. You should have something to research. You can't just get 3 or 4 APIs and put them together saying that this is our research. You can't do that. You can't do that. This might be a stupid question. There are no stupid questions here. But does creating a new cryptocurrency, assuming we are able to count as a research topic? Okay. There are several ways to create a new cryptocurrency. All right. Like if you are familiar with cloud computing, you can create a cryptocurrency in 2-3 days. But that doesn't count as a research. Maybe if you're finding a new way to find a new cryptocurrency, and maybe you're finding a way to improve the current cryptocurrency methods, then that will be considered as a research. Give me a minute. I think my battery is dying. Okay. Okay. So again, creating a cryptocurrency can be identified as research, but as long as you improve something, you can't just create a cryptocurrency like now we have like Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these things, right? But you can't be like just another coin and saying it's a research, because all the things are documented. You just have to follow document to create a cryptocurrency, right? So if you can improve something about cryptocurrency, and if you find a flow about cryptocurrency, then it will fine. Okay, we have one question. Since I am from first year, second semester, what can I do about this research project? What can I do to have better project? Which steps should I take? If you're from first year, second semester, I think you have started your work. By being here in this fourth year session, I think you are climbing up the ladder, and you are taking the necessary steps to success. Because I haven't seen any first years in our time coming to the sessions, and definitely like for us, we didn't have these kind of sessions, right? Like in 2017 batch, I forgot 17 batch. So like for us, it was just magic. Come to the third year, do research. That's it. we didn't have seniors, we didn't have like communities like MS Club, Force, and we didn't have these people to do something about these things and letting us know what should we do. So if you're first year, if you're first year student, definitely stick with the projects. Don't pay anyone to do your projects. Always try to do something new. Always try to learn something new, and always try to learn, and improve your skill set. That's my advice to you. What are the top programming languages and frameworks to learn in the future? This is not very relevant to this session, but I think Flutter is the. I think Flutter will be the next big thing in technology world. But I don't think Java will go anywhere. I don't think Python will go anywhere. They will be stay there. But Flutter, React, Angular, these things will do something very big in the near future. And again, Kubernetes, Docker as well. These things will change the way that we think about programming in the next few years. That's it. We found a good topic, but we couldn't solve the problem at last. What happened in the situation? If you find a good topic, but if you couldn't solve the problem, maybe you can contact someone else. Maybe an industry expert, maybe a senior, maybe a lecturer, a supervisor, and then they will give you their perspective, and then they will help you to solve the problem. Is that it? Yeah, that's it finally. Yeah. We have another one. When learning new technologies, do we learn using official documents from YouTube tutorials? That's a good question. So like for me, I always refer the official documentation. I have it open with me always, and whenever I get to do something special, I watch YouTube, but most of the time I just Google and search for in a Stack Overflow. Like in YouTube, you can you have to watch the whole video to identify what others doing. But if you refer Stack Overflow, I think it's very pinpointed. I think now it's enough, right? My throat is getting hurt. We found a good topic, but we couldn't. When learning technologies, do we learn use? Yeah, I mentioned as well. If it mean MERSAC, what will be research technology? Mean. If you're splitting MERN or mean, I don't think there is research technology. But if your solution can just be solved using MERN or mean, you might be doing a project rather than research. But research technology will be full study development here. Can we get an instructor as a co-supervisor or supervisor? I don't think you can get an instructor as a supervisor, but you can get an instructor as a co-supervisor. Yeah, that's enough. I think we have all. Yeah, and we have this feedback form. Please fill feedback form, and this will help SC community to do better jobs, to do these kind of sessions again, because in researchers you will be learning a lot of things, you will be facing a lot of problems, and then maybe you can contact SC community to get their help, and then they will contact someone as me, myself, even my seniors, lecturers, and get your help. But please be kind enough to fill this form, and this will help me as well as a presenter, and add feedback about me. You can blame me, you can say I can understand what I'm saying. You can pinpoint anything about myself, and I'll be happy to get your feedback as well. Do we have any questions? Can you explain your research project as a bit in-depth explanation? Okay, I'll do that next day. So my research is a network science based approach for an optimal microservice governance. So when we think about how the internet works, like we are seeing a website, right? Like if you are like seeing a website, most probably that website is hosted somewhere in a cloud or a server. So like how that works is in previous times, like when they started this IT world, there this like monolithic operation. Like monolithic means like front end, back end, everything was in just one big blob, and then they deployed it to what you call a server, something like what you did in IWT in like PHP form, and then they came up with this like server client architecture. The thing that you did in OOP most probably, like JSPS servers, JSPS being the front end, server being the back end, and then they came up with the idea of like this microservice. So microservice like dividing the workload into like few different small units and deploying it like individually, and that helped the industry to like pinpoint problems and be more efficient in this problem solving. So in microservice, there are some problems like in microservice there are like few ways to like deploy it, and the most recently found ways is like the containerization. Basically, containerization is maybe like I'm going to like be too technical, but bear with me. I don't know to explain this without being technical. Like since since our topic is so technical, so basically we have Kubernetes. Basically we have something called Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, that we can deploy our service like individually. As example, I have like let's say Concept. In Concept, we have a payment gateway, we have lecturers, we have videos, we have courses. Like we are maintaining a service, basically a backend for each and everything separately. So like we are deploying it in Kubernetes as individual services in different servers. But what happened was like in Kubernetes, like when they like deploy it, they did not care about like how the microservices interact with each other. They just care about the RAM and CPU and hard disk space. Like in my research, what we did was we came up with an idea about to actually extracting the usage of these like individual microservices and like use machine learning, and actually like we try to like predict the load. Basically like let's say as example, let's say eBay, like eBay goes down in every Black Friday, right? In Black Friday, people try to go to eBay as much as possible, and the eBay servers can't take the load and they goes down. But what our research did was like from previous data, like from previous years of data, we think like we predict in this day we are going to get this much of load. In this day we are going to get this much of load. Then we can be prepared to scale our application, and then we can allocate more RAM, more hard disk based on those data. And again, like there might be people joining new in the Black Friday, so then we have to use this like login service much more. So then we can allocate some network cards strength to those network problems, and then we can deploy them closer. Like if we can deploy like the home page and login closer, and then network will be very fast. So that basically what our research was. I have the website, I guess, here. So we came up with like this like a cool name, K8 Advisor, because Kubernetes is known as K8, and we are going to advise about K8, and this is our logo that I decided myself. I think I can share this link with you. You can read this one. We have everything. We have an idea about our domain, such gap, such problems, such objectives that we could solve, and the milestone that we passed, and our main components. So this was my components, and then the documents, all the documents that we published. You can download any documents, but like please don't copy. the documents, but you can like always like read this document, and you can find all these websites. Like every team had to develop something like this website and deploy them in SLIIT concept. And if you go to concept, you can find it. Like you can find every research website. And then we have the technology I have used Kubernetes, Istio, Kiali, Python, KS, Docker, AKS, all these things. And when we were like the finalists in NBQ USA, and we were invited to this 21st awards, and like one thing is missing here, and we won the best paper award in ICAC. So this is my team. This is our Supervisor, and this is my team members. Yeah, this is it. This is our research. I don't think you will learn everything from scratch, but it's a good research to read, I guess. But don't start with this one. I think my camera went down. Let me see. I'm having low battery. I'm going to disconnect my camera. Okay. Okay. So what I was saying? Yeah. Don't start reading research papers from my research, because it feels sometimes hard to understand. So try with some small researchers and get up and running. Yeah, can you please give an example of technologies? You can select machine learning. You can select artificial intelligence. You can select DevOps. You can select. I think I have showed the domains, right? So yeah. Can you show research? I think I have already showed this one. We are selecting topic. We will need to think what's the conclusion is, and going to arrive at the end of the research. Yeah, you have an idea about what you are going to resolve. Like you can't just do research and like go in dark. You have an idea about what you are going to accomplish. Maybe you don't have an idea about how to do that properly, but you should have an idea about what will be extra and what to expect at the end. Thank you very much. Can you share the link as well? I will do. I think that's enough. I think we did this for more than 2.5 hours. Thank you for listening, and again, thank you SC community to inviting me to do this, and thank you for all of this event. You can always find me in this link, gihansiriwardhana.live. You can find all my links, all my profiles, and please follow me there in these links. And yeah, that's from my side. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gihan, for joining with us and dedicating your time and effort to share knowledge and experiences. It was really helpful, and I would like to thank all the students in the software engineering students community for organizing this event, and also the students who are present here. Thank you for joining with us. There is a small announcement, like we have published a feedback form. You can see that under the Q&A section, right? So please provide your opinion regarding the session. I hope that everyone would fill this, and so that we can do better next time, right? So definitely it's really valuable. And finally, we have come to the end of this event. I hope that all your doubts regarding the module were cleared, and I found it useful, right? I hope that everyone found it useful, and thank you so much, Gihan, for joining us. Gihan for joining us, and also remember that good beginning makes a big difference. Therefore, make sure that you begin this new academic year with a positive mindset. I wish you all the best of luck. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.